Okay, let's unpack this source material you've shared. It's excerpts from a white paper, all about building thriving communities.
That's right. And it lays out a pretty significant challenge.
Yeah, seems like many places are really struggling. Economic decline, disconnection.
And it points to things like really low dollar turnover rates.
Right, the paper highlights some communities where a dollar circulates, what, less than one time locally?
Exactly. When the benchmark they mention for sustainability is, circulating at least twice inside the local economy before it leaves.
That low turnover, it's clearly a symptom of deeper issues, isn't it?
Absolutely. As the material points out, problems like underemployment, educational gaps, they're all deeply intertwined.
Creating a kind of negative feedback loop, yeah. Keeps communities stuck.
It really does. It's not just about jobs. It impacts the whole social fabric opportunity.
Right. And, well, it's easy to focus just on the problems, which are daunting.
Sure.
But this deep dive isn't only about the challenges. The white paper gets into some surprising insights from research.
And it offers a specific path forward. That's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah. So the mission here, as I see it, is to understand how class, environment
And a particular take on entrepreneurship.
might actually hold the key to breaking that cycle, driving revitalization. That's according to this analysis anyway.
Precisely. And it kicks off with this fascinating point from research, quoting Dr. Raj Chetty.
From Stanford and Opportunity
Well,
Insights, yeah. Their work suggests mobility is shaped less by race.
And more powerfully by class and environment. That's the argument presented.
What's really striking from that research cited in the paper is the finding about kids from low-income backgrounds.
They tend to have better long-term outcomes when they're exposed to higher-income peers.
And live in neighborhoods with strong support systems. Good schools, stable families.
Broader social networks, yeah. The phrase they use really sticks. Proximity to success matters.
That just makes intuitive sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Who you're around, the opportunities nearby,
Yeah.
it has a huge impact.
Totally. And seeing that backed by data, like from Chetty's studies, it really underscores how critical the local environment is.
It goes beyond just individual effort, clearly.
So if the environment is such a crucial lever for opportunity, it kind of begs the question.
How do we intentionally engineer environments? Environments that foster upward mobility, success.
Especially for those starting with fewer advantages.
And that leads straight into the white paper's argument about entrepreneurship.
Yeah, that it's one of the most powerful tools we have for revitalizing communities.
For creating those enabling environments.
Exactly. And it's framed as more than just, starting businesses for profit.
It's about cultivating a mindset.
The paper emphasizes how entrepreneurship fosters innovation, keeps dollars circulating locally,
Builds that culture of resilience, ownership within the community.
and teaches fundamental skills like spotting opportunities, creative problem solving.
The material brings up Gary Schenninger. He's a thought leader in entrepreneurial mindset education.
Right. And his argument as presented here is that real success isn't primarily about having capital.
Or even brilliant ideas alone.
Critically, it's about how people think. Their capacity to overcome obstacles, see possibilities.
So if you connect Schenninger's point about mindset with Chetty's findings about environment,
Well, the paper's conclusion becomes pretty compelling.
an entrepreneurial mindset,
Yeah.
intentionally nurtured within the right environment.
That combination, they argue, has the potential to drive real generational change in communities.
Okay, so theory's great, but how do you actually do that?
And that's where the paper shifts. It lays out a concrete blueprint, the Entrepreneur Innovation Hub.
Right, tell us about that.
Well, it's described as a community-based space, both physical and programmatic.
Designed specifically to launch and scale local ventures.
Exactly. Providing essential support training, mentorship, access to capital, the basics.
But the design seems key here for its potential impact.
Definitely. The paper highlights how it's structured to be a catalyst for both economic and social mobility by intentionally bringing together entrepreneurs from diverse backgrounds.
Creating that crucial proximity to success environment we talked about earlier.
Yes. And there's a non-negotiable requirement built into this hub model.
Which is?
Resident entrepreneurs must mentor local youth.
Okay, so it's not just goodwill.
No, it's described as a deliberate strategy to transfer knowledge, build intergenerational networks.
Provide direct exposure to entrepreneurial pathways, tackling those educational and opportunity gaps.
Right. And the diversity requirement is pretty specific, too.
What does it say?
At least 70% of the resident entrepreneurs are intended to come from low-income backgrounds.
Wow, okay, so That intentional mix.
The paper argues it's vital for fostering innovative solutions relevant to the community's actual needs and breaking down class silos.
So this integrated structure, the paper suggests, works because it actively boosts local economic circulation.
By supporting local businesses, yeah.
Yeah.
And it develops future-ready youth through direct role models and skills.
Fosters collaboration across different groups.
And fundamentally builds a proactive culture, ownership, possibility within the community.
So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you, the listener?
Well, we've seen how the research cited points strongly to class and environment, how critical they are for intergenerational mobility.
Reinforcing that idea that proximity to success isn't just a nice-to-have, it's a real driver, as Dr. Chetty's work highlights.
And we've touched on the transformative power of mindset, like Gary Schoeniger emphasizes.
Success being deeply tied to how people approach challenges and opportunities, not just what resources they have.
Right, and this source material, it really braids these threads together.
Proposing that when you intentionally cultivate that entrepreneurial mindset within an environment designed for connection and support.
That's when you create the conditions for generational change.
So the Entrepreneur Innovation Hub blueprint, it isn't just about starting businesses.
No, it's presented as a model for building that interconnected, opportunity-rich environment and mindset directly into a community's fabric.
Which leaves us with an important question for you to consider.
If environment and mindset really are such powerful forces in determining opportunity, how might actively cultivating those within your own community change the trajectory for everyone living there?